Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Attorney Ronald Haley. I'm a civil rights lawyer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My office, along with Louis Oglesby's office and Dietrich Moore, handle many police misconduct cases throughout the state and the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to briefly but succinctly go through a list of cases that have happened here in the state of Louisiana. Some of the names you may know, many you probably don't. However, they come from a cross section of our great state, affecting both blacks and whites, men and women, disabled and healthy. Tanisha White. Tanisha White is from Winfield, Louisiana. She's a disabled Army vet. Winfield Police Department was called out one evening in November 2019. Through that encounter, she was shot in the eye with a JPX pepper spray gun. This already disabled Army vet that served her country now does not have a right eye. Raheem Howard, who is represented today here by his mother, who is in the back. Mr. Howard was a Baton Rouge case where, due to the absolute and clear misrepresentations and lies from a Baton Rouge police officer, led the entire law enforcement community on a 48-hour manhunt in which Mr. Howard was arrested for attempted murder of a police officer and thrown in jail. Charges were dropped on Mr. Howard 30 days later when it was determined that officer lied. Joseph Richardson, who is represented here today by the mother of his children, Miss Dalton, who now has the burden of raising her daughters alone. A no-knock warrant was executed in West Baton Rouge. Mr. Richardson was shot in the back of the head. A subsequent search of Mr. Richardson's person and the hotel room that he was in found no weapon. Robert Gray from Denham Springs. Bobby Thompson from Bastrop. These are two separate cases, but they are similar. Both men suffered a medical condition that to the lay eye may render that person to believe to be intoxicated or on some type of medication. They were assaulted, beaten. Both individuals had to be hospitalized. Modesto Reyes, 2 days after George Floyd, Mr. Reyes was shot by Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. That office purports to have a videotape that came from a taser that allegedly shows him with the firearm. That tape has been shown to selective members of the media, not his family, not his attorneys, not to the public. I have many other cases in my database that I can ring out. But I'm going to give every one of you a practical reason for why we need to end qualified immunity. You see, practically speaking, if a crime is committed against you or someone has violated your rights, you have a place to go. Go to the police, internal affairs, make a report. Practically speaking, you would think that it would be a fair investigation. But practically, in reality, are two different things. In each of the cases that I cited, and trust me, I have many more, there was not an arrest made on any officer involved. Practically versus reality. None of the cases I've cited, and again, I do have many more, led to a formal prosecution of any of the officers. And I'm not talking about going to trial and putting up a defense and being found not guilty. Everyone in this country deserves that right. I'm talking about we don't even get to that part of the game. It gets cut off before. So why do we need qualified immunity to be ended? I would make the case that the police, as currently constructed, cannot police themselves. Many times families that are asking for answers to why their father is never coming home get a one-sided report from either internal affairs or the state police. Mothers who want to know why their sons were wrongfully incarcerated may or may not get to participate in the grand jury process, a fair one. Thus, they can't depend on their local prosecutors to police this situation. They can't depend on the police. Their only recourse then is in the civil courts. And I heard discussion earlier that the recourse is money. That you're going to sue the bad actors for money. I will contend to every single person here that if you speak to a victim, you speak to a family member, money is the last thing they're looking for. What they're looking for is answers. And because of qualified immunity, a lot of times cases such as the ones that I've cited get cut off at the knees before they have the opportunity to get into formal discovery, to be able to ask the questions, to have their attorney or advocate cross-examine the evidence that exonerated that officer. Ladies and gentlemen, these are members of your community. From North Louisiana to South Louisiana, black, white, It doesn't matter. I'm here standing with them. I'm here to speak for them. We are in the people's house. And we need the representatives of the people to stand with them, to vote to pass House Bill 51. Would be a vote for transparency, accountability, and fairness. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Haley.